Soulful shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, just some social shit for everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I made this be myself, so hear me. Woo! I mean, like, we can pull that clown shit away. There's some real shit for you. I'm spazzing right now, so listen, let's go. Yeah. It's in their bones, the thugs in harmony for the love of the money. Then fall victim for the cookie, then turn pussy, it's lonely. You said you hold it down when life get rough, we're here now, so show me. We move them losses to them wins. Heavy pounds, we make it ends meet. Converse of only few who make me feel like I be 10 feet.
It's so true, guys. I could see my in the back, like I was just busting up, bro. Fuck it up. Hey, big up everybody, man. Big up to those who are locked in this afternoon, man. You already know the vibes, you know the ties already. I'm joined by the gaffer. You know what I'm saying? We're here to talk Ballon d'Or. Is it a deja vu? You know what I'm saying? Some people telling me, yo, man, this reminds me of when Henry got, you know what I'm saying, got shagged back in, what was it? 03? Yeah, 03. Got shagged for the Ballon d'Or, obviously, back then. So I said, you know what, let's react to it, man. Let's see what's up. Does Rodri actually deserve to win the Ballon d'Or for the last year? I can't remember what the dates are that they use for this thing. Guys, if you're watching this on the replay, bro, smash a like, share, subscribe, all of that YouTube policy crap. Jerry, man, chat to the people, man. How are you doing this afternoon, though?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Been up from early, man. Been up from early. So I'm just this is my lunch break. You know, I'm taking this as my lunch break. This is my lunch break. Cool. After this, we get back into it again. No, then I got coaching. Then it's just long.
Oh, you're coaching this evening, yeah?
Yeah, bruv. Yeah, bruv. And then I'm going. I told you on Friday I'm going to Charlton, innit? You know, inroads in the pro game and that.
Come, bro, guys, listen. We got our own Arne Slot, Jerry Klopp, whatever you want to call him, Jerry Guardiola. I don't know how.
Definitely not Klopp, though. Definitely not Klopp.
Right, sorry.
Energy on the touchline, maybe, but tactics.
Okay. No what you said? Well, you're not doing the like when you know he does this, like
what?
Yeah, he's like show some heart, like show some heart. Like.
No, I do that 100%. Not that, but I do the heart thing. But I'm not doing 9-9 brass. I'm not doing that.
Hey, nah, man. Big up to your damn self, man. Big up those who are in the chat, of course, already. Big up ENDZ in the building. Big up 𝐒𝐷𝐿3. Big up. They used the 23-24 season plus the Copa America Euros. Let's dive straight into it. Of course, I don't want to be here for too long either, guys. So I want to try and make this about an hour, or if not, maybe Ram might join us as well later on. So if he does, obviously, guys, give him a big up when he does. Jerry, man, obviously, Rodri won the Ballon d'Or last night.
That's called the Ballon d'Or, you know. Dior.
So, yeah, Dior, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, I shouldn't even, because they were, I see them lot,
the Louis thing,
the Louis thing, yeah. And I said, okay, I'm gonna have to, you know what I'm saying, the LV Dior, the LV D'Or, the LV Ballon, something, man. I'll figure it out during the stream anyway. But obviously, Rodri won it last night. I would say, what, 48, 72 hours prior to that, I would have said that I thought Vini was winning it from what we had been told for like the last, God knows how many months. It had been reported that he was going to win the Ballon d'Or, man. Chat to me, bro. Does he deserve it first and foremost? And why does he deserve it, if you feel that way?
I think he 100% deserves it. 100% deserves it. I think obviously the Ballon d'Or historically has always gone to your forward players, right? I know Cannavaro won it in 2003, 4, 2?
No, 2. I want to say
2000. No, it couldn't be 2002. It was after. Is it 6?
No, it wasn't even 2002 actually.
6?
When did he win it?
6?
Yes, 6. Sorry, yes, 6. Yes.
Sorry, I'm thinking of the World Cup, and I'm like,
no, it's the same.
It's the what? Yeah. So it was 2006, right? So he won that.
Yeah, 2006.
Of course, Virgil van Dijk was in the running as well. This is when Messi won it, but it's always been won predominantly by a forward. Therefore, the metrics are always geared towards what a forward does, and because of the profile player we've had in recent years, with obviously Messi, Ronaldo dominating, it just always goes to a forward. And obviously, before that, it was always a forward as well. Rodri, for me, last season and the season before, potentially even the season before that, has been the most influential player on his team. on his team. Is in when he's not playing,
Yeah.
City look vulnerable. When he was removed in certain games last season, you saw the impact that he had. When he was available in certain games, you saw the last-minute winners, the screamers from distance, his ability to control games. His influence on a team is so high. I do not think him winning it is some tragedy or whatever. Of course, in years gone by, a forward would have won it. The question I pose, though, is if you remove Vinicius and played Rodrigo there, do Real Madrid still potentially win what they did? I think so. On the flip side, I don't think City would have won without Rodri, and I think that's why Rodri for me is the best player. Albeit he didn't win the Champions League, you saw his influence in the Euros, and yes, he only played a half in the final, but throughout that tournament, he was a don in that tournament. He was a don in that tournament again. And yeah, I think it's as simple as that. I don't think there's anything to kind of discuss further than that. He's just, for me, the best player. He's not the best forward. He might not be the most entertaining forward. I think he's the most. The NBA guys have the best term for it. Most valuable player. I think he's the most valuable. I think he's the most valuable in football.
That's a better word. Yeah,
it's a better word. The best isn't always. I mean, like, there's so many metrics. Vinicius is a better forward than him, 100%. He's probably more skilled than him, like skillful. I think Rodri is the most valuable player, and I think that's why he deserves to win it. And it's good from someone that isn't a forward. It's good to see that you can be in another position and still have a chance to win it. Because otherwise, it gets to a point where, I mean, you have like for me, it was a tragedy when Virgil van Dijk didn't win the Ballon d'Or. That was a madness.
I think he did deserve it, to be fair.
Yeah.
He did deserve it that year. It's mad because obviously this is obviously the list. It's got the men's and of course the women's. I don't know why it's only got 29 of the men and 30 of the women's, but those are obviously the top 29, 30 players that
because Mats Hummels and Dovbyk got the same votes, so they've got 29th because they couldn't.
Oh snap! Okay, I didn't even. Okay, I see it. I see it. Fair. Okay, fair. To be fair, I definitely would have had Mats Hummels higher than Vitinha and higher than maybe Kalinoglu as well. But fair, either way, he's on the list anyway. When you look at this list here, obviously, whether you've seen it or not seen it or whatever, you kind of know the top three: Rodri, Vinicius, and Jude Bellingham, right? When you see that, do you think that's a fair representation of the last year? Forgetting the previous years or whatever, because I agree with you as well. I think Rodri should have actually won it before that. To be honest with you, when they won the treble last year. Yeah. I thought like he should have won it then, but he didn't. I thought, okay, fairs. So I thought, was this one of them ones where they're almost trying to correct a wrong kind of thing? Because to me, there wasn't really like an outstanding individual for this year's 2024 Ballon d'Or anyway. So
one second,
no, come. Like that, to me, there wasn't really like an outstanding kind of individual when I was looking at the Ballon d'Or list. I mean, as I said, you got Rodri, Vinicius, so the top 10: Rodri, Vinicius, Jude, Dani Carvajal, Erling Haaland, Kylian Mbappe, Lautaro Martinez, Lamine Yamal, Toni Kroos, and Harry Kane. That is the top 10. When I look at all of those 10 players, I don't look at them and think to myself, yeah, he was the outstanding best, or he was the outstanding, or Mbappe, or Martinez, or Yamal, obviously him having a fantastic Euros and stuff. There wasn't really an outstanding candidate. So when I deep it, I'm like, Rodri winning it doesn't seem so, like, I'm seeing people online saying, oh my days, man, this is the biggest robbery since obviously the whole Nedved and, Thierry Henry situation and, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, nah, at least that one was a little bit more, closer in terms of, you probably should have given it to such and such. Obviously, they gave it to Nedved, and we'll talk about that obviously in a minute. But I didn't look at this and think to myself, like, this is the guy that they picked, for the Ballon d'Or. Big up, honestly, he's saying obviously Carvajal was my pick. I mean, me and Savage actually spoke about this a little while ago, and we was like, yeah, I mean, Carvajal would have had, a chance, in my opinion, to pick it. Where is he even on this list? Yeah, look at his fourth. Do you get what I'm saying? He's just outside the top three. So again, like, I'm looking at that thinking, was there really one guy? And what's funny as well, it also points to, I know Trent Alexander-Arnold recently spoke about, I think he had that choice of picking between like winning winning something for England or something like that, and winning the Ballon d'Or. And he said, you know, he wants to win the Ballon d'Or. He feels like he's got a chance and stuff like that. And I was like, you know, when you look at lists like this, you probably do. I don't see him winning it ever, if I'm being 100% honest. But maybe we're getting, obviously, we've moved out of that Messi, Ronaldo era. So those two are now gone. So now we're at a level playing field kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So now it's going to be interesting to see as to who actually wins, you know, this kind of competition. This kind of award every single year, because now they actually have to. Before, I never truly felt that they really sat there and said, oh, yeah, we got to pick. No. It was always, it's either going to be Messi or Ronaldo. Whoever wins the Champions League is going to be front runner. Whoever wins the league is obviously going to be in an even better, you know, position to win it. It was kind of easy for them, you know, back then. And to be honest, there were some years I felt Messi probably shouldn't have won it, and there were some years I felt Ronaldo probably shouldn't have won it. But listen, it was always going to be those two. Now they really have to sit here, and now it's really going to be interesting, you know, more than anything. Ada saying here, you could make a case for Jude. He was the best player in La Liga in his debut season, assisted in the Champions League final, and though not his best tournament, had 2 decisive goals in the Euros and assist in the final. This is what I'm saying. Like, there is no outstanding, like, there's not one player I looked at on this whole list, and I fucked with Rodri a lot. I think he's one of the best players in the world. I didn't look at him last season and think, you're the outstanding candidate. I looked at that the season before, though, and I said, now you have to win it, like, surely. But he obviously didn't win it. But obviously, I was just saying there, Jerry, just whilst you was off, like, obviously looking at the list, let's say it wasn't Rodri. Is there anybody else on the list you feel could have, in your eyes, just your own pick, you would have picked to win it? Or was Vinicius literally your second choice?
I think Jude Bellingham's the one. I think Jude Bellingham's the one as well. When you look at what he did in that first season, like carrying, like for me, when I looked at Real Madrid last season, it was Bellingham over Vinicius for me, especially the early parts. Like I looked at it like, Bellingham needs to play well. And when you saw what Bellingham did in like the 𝐒𝐷𝐀𝐃, I'm pretty sure he scored a couple of goals. You saw what he did in the Champions League as well. You saw how the confidence he was playing with. He's the one that
scored 23 goals last season.
Exactly. He's the one that when I looked at it, he had the personality of a Ballon d'Or winner, if that makes sense. He was moving, the way he was operating, like, I'm the best in the world. No one can chat to me. So I'd probably give it, he's the one where you could have looked at it. Obviously, it's difficult because because of when the Ballon d'Or is done, it's not done like right at the end of the season. People are looking at this season to and be like, oh, well, he needs to win it because Vinicius, in your mind, he just scored a hat-trick the other day in the Champs against Dortmund. So that's fresh in your mind. Rodri is obviously not available because he's injured. Jude Bellingham's not had the best start to the season. So when you look at it, it's just like, like, of course it might be Vinicius. But when you look back on it, I think Jude Bellingham was top. Dani Carvajal was outstanding last season.
Yes.
Outstanding. And he's the one where fourth, you know, when you look at the names, probably, but if he had came in the top 3, even like top 2, I wouldn't have been personally annoyed at that, purely because when you break it down, you saw how influential he was last season to Real Madrid. I'm pretty sure he got an assist in both in the Champions League final and the Euros.
Maybe. I know he got in one of them.
I'm pretty sure in one of them, absolutely outstanding last season. Scored some important goals, made some important assists. You know, like he was outstanding to the point where, like, he was arguably the best right back in the world, innit? And he's
he was definitely that. He was
definitely. And so for me, or best fullback, I'd say. So I'd take definitely Dani Carvajal in there. Harry Kane personally had a good season with obviously the amount of goals. They just didn't win anything.
Yeah. But okay. So just on that real quick, I'll try and get up the actual, because I think they've actually got a 3-point checklist for how you can actually win the Ballon d'Or. So I'm going to try and get that up. Harry Kane not winning anything, should that count towards him as an individual in terms of winning a Ballon d'Or award?
Depends what, again, is how are the teams, or what are the metrics to go and be able to go and win the Ballon d'Or? Because if you're
scored in the final, by the way,
like, if one of the metrics is you have to have been like a key component in a winning team, right? then you have to win. Like if that, because otherwise, you know, Salah would be up there every single season. Alisson should be there. Virgil van Dijk will be there every single season because of how good they are. So although it's an individual award, it's a bit, the lines are blurred because it also takes into consideration what you did as a team. And then obviously how influential you have done as a team. Or how influential you were in that team winning. I think that's why Rodri's top. And I think that's why I go to it. I think if you looked at individually, there's a lot of players that, you know, individually had really, really good seasons. Again, Salah's one that when you look at it individually, he had a very, very good season last year. Virgil van Dijk had a decent season. Granit Xhaka could have been higher. Florian Wirtz could have been higher. Lamine Yamal in his own right had a very good season. Like, when you talk about a very, very, very good season. Now, did they win anything of note? Not really. He did win the Euros though. Yeah. It
says here,
go on.
Here's the 3 things they said. This is how they how they base it. Individual performances, decisive and impressive character, number 1. Number 2, team performances and achievements. Number 3, class and fair play on the field.
Yeah,
so those are the 3.
We'll put it that way. I didn't know about the last one, but if we're talking about the class and fair play and that, Vinicius is the one that unfortunately he gets this. That just discounts him. If anything, he should be 4th on that list, because what I don't rate, is you play the villain, you play the arrogant guy, but then you're crying. Multiple things though. You're crying. You're playing the victim, and I don't like that, because again, when I talk about like what Belling, when I was talking about the arrogance that he had last season, right? Even if you, I don't think he was a villain, but even if you considered him a villain, I don't think he would have cared. It's like, I am what I am. It is what it is. When Henry was that type of person where he had the arrogance about him, when Cantona had the arrogance about him, they didn't go and play victim, do you know what I mean, 5 minutes later and cry about stuff like that. They just went and got on with it. Vinicius, unfortunately, he's the type of player that he wants to be the villain, but when it goes against him, you're crying. And I think him not getting to the Ballon d'Or award, automatically, you should, just by doing that, you kind of discount yourself if that's the metric they're going by. Do you know what I mean? If that's one of the metrics, then unfortunately you can't be there. Like you can't. But yeah, Rodri. I think when I look at it though, let me look at what did Rodri win last year.
All he won was all he won. Sorry, what he won was the Premier League and the Euros. Premier League and Euros. So
what's his winning ratio?
You'd have to you'd have to check that.
Because this is crazy, right? In 22-23, he got 6 goals and 6 assists and 2 goals in the Prem, right? In 36 games. Last season, he played 34 games, but got 9 assists and 8 goals from a DM position or from a deep line position. And when you think of the goals, I remember so many times he scored the winning goal. I'm pretty sure it was Rarsing it. That's an influential player. That's a player that's like, you know what, I'm the Don Dada in that team. Like, we've experienced it as Liverpool fans with Gerrard, innit? Where Gerrard would have got stats like that, and you look at it like, but each one of those goals, that's the difference between us finishing 6th and finishing 4th. The difference with him, though, is those performances they made sure he won the league. You then look at what he done in, obviously, UEFA Super Cup last season.
Oh, yeah, snap.
You got 1 assist in that, in the Super Cup. I go and look at what else is going on here. What did he do in the Euros? Let's see for Spain here. For Spain, he got 1 goal in 6 games in the Euros. Yeah, he was just influential, man. It was
more about his. Yeah, I was gonna say it's more. I wouldn't even have known that he even scored a goal in the Euros. To be fair, it was just more how he was playing. I was like, bro, like not without Rodri, because they were able to obviously win the game in the end without him. But you saw his influence throughout the tournament, bro. He was just like, he is almost like the linchpin for that team to be able, especially because they got bare young players. Man, Yamal and Nico Williams up front, kind of thing, like, and whoever at the back. It's kind of like he was the one, the most experienced head. The leader.
And
he was captain anyway. He was captain.
Exactly. And that's what it is. I know Savage is saying Rodri had more of a shout last season. I think when you break it down, I don't think so, because you're basing it on the fact that City done the treble, right? Which is fine, but that's only one of the metrics. That's only one of the metrics.
True.
Statistically, what I'm looking, and when I remember last season about Rodri scored.
No, but he was good that season, though. He was.
Don't get it twisted. No. But Rodri, he was always good. I don't remember Rodri not being good. Since he turned good, since he came to City, and we started seeing consistency, he's never not been good. We're not debating whether he's good or not. True. I'm saying that last season was the season when Gundogan was gone, De Bruyne was injured.
No, Gundogan was there last. Oh no, he was gone. Sorry, yeah.
Remember, that was the season where people were saying Arsenal were going to do it. Don't get it twisted. That was the season when people were like, Arsenal are going to do it this year. It's all Arsenal's to lose because City haven't started well again. Haaland didn't score at the rate he did the season before. But remember, there were so many components to what was going on. Remember, Bernardo Silva looked like he was flirting with leaving. It was a madness. I remember it was a madness last season, right? Liverpool were top until 7 games to go. And who comes up trumps? I remember it was Rodri, and Rodri was the guy. He was the ever-present player. So if you think about it, you probably had a more influential season last season than he did the season before, purely because Haaland wasn't scoring at the same rate. De Bruyne was always injured, which he always is. Gundogan was still there, and we know how influential Gundogan was in that season as well, the season when they won it, the treble. Foden, I mean, man, I think, Rodri was that guy. I don't think we can really. I don't think when you break it down, I don't think you can actually debate that Rodri can't win. I think people have just got this, people just want the Ballon d'Or to be a Ronaldinho or like a Neymar regen or something like that, where they're just the entertainer wins it. And it's like, it needs to be
I agree with you. I'm more on the side of, listen, of course, when I was younger, don't get twisted. I would have definitely have said that, because I was younger, I just want to see attacking players. I play in attacking position, so I want to see these kind of players, winning these kind of things. Of course, Jerry, obviously being a defender, he's more trying to, what I'm saying? He's trying to see the Virgils and the people like that trying to win it.
Don't get it twisted. You see, even like Vinicius, yeah, I find it mad that Vinicius is even in the conversation for Ballon d'Or for me personally. Not saying that he doesn't deserve to be there. But I just find it mad. When I break it down, I'm like, what? Vinicius? For me, he's not like a Neymar at his best. He weren't dictating games or I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But I'm looking at it Vinicius is this is the best we've got to offer as a forward.
But see, now that's a conversation we'll get to in a second because we've had this conversation. Big up Steve, obviously, for joining in. This afternoon, bro. Just want to read this out quickly before I get Steve's kind of thoughts on this whole thing. Ada's obviously saying, look, why are they judging character / fair play in a best player award? Vini has his antics, but Rodri got sent off for choking Morgan Gibbs White last season too. Character is too subjective. I think, and listen, I haven't got, everything is subjective, of course, but I also think you got to realize what Jerry said about you see some of the, and listen, I'm not here to listen the racial stuff that's whatever, but you got to also understand the antics that this guy does have on the pitch. Some people do not look at that as sporting or sportingly or
sportsmanship. Really, they don't look at it as being
sportsmanship.
Guys. So did you guys hear what he said to Gavi the other day when they lost 4-0?
What did he actually say? What did he say?
He said, yeah, you're winning 4-0 now, but you're not going to be I'm going to be winning the Ballon d'Or in a couple of days. And now you haven't.
Now look.
I mean, listen, if you're going to play with that arrogance, right? Do you see when you do that? He's now crying about not winning the award. I don't want to hear you crying though. You're coming in you see when Haaland's got the arrogance about him when he's saying, be humble, be humble. If they lose the league, I'm not seeing him crying about it. He just I'm just going to work harder. Vinicius is crying about the fact that he hasn't won the Ballon d'Or. Go and win it then. Right. You should go and win it. Show us you're going to win. I don't want to hear you crying about it.
Perform to such a high level that they can't give it to anyone else but you.
Yeah, literally.
Make yourself undeniable.
But this is what I was saying about there not being an outstanding candidate. If I'm being real, if I was really gonna if I had to make a vote, I would have voted for Carvajal. He was actually my pick to win the thing because I said there's no obviously taking out all of these attackers and stuff like that, bro. You gotta realize, bro, this guy was the best fullback, as Jerry said, not even best right back. Well, I'm even gonna scrap that. I thought he was the best fullback last season. Yeah, left and right back.
I agree.
if he was the best fullback that we had last season, he scored in the someone said it in the UCL final as well. So he's scoring in big moments is what people want to see. His team won the Champions League, the La Liga, and I'm sure they won something else as well. Like he's doing everything that you kind of want him to do in his position.
He's been doing it for years. You could play the Luka Modric card when they gave Modric the Ballon d'Or, like a recognition of your greatness over the past. You could have played that card because, like, think about it. I could name multiple Real Madrid left backs since 2010. Can you name multiple Real Madrid right backs since 2010? It's just Carvajal, really, because at one point Real Madrid have had Mendy. They've had 2013 is the Portuguese guy, Contrao.
Oh, yes. Contrao. Oh,
They've had Marcelo. They've had, there was another one in there that was really good for a period of time. But point is, once Real Madrid bought him from Leverkusen, I think it was 2012-ish.
After selling him to Leverkusen as well.
After selling him to Leverkusen, So ever since that point, nobody's dislodged him from that spot. And they haven't bought anyone, too, because they're like, we know. And everyone else has changed. Almost everyone else, it's him and Modric that have been their longest tenured players. So
I think that's so mad he played for Bayern Leverkusen. That's so mad.
I think when you deep it, I think
well, Savage, I'm talking about like obviously because Lucas Vázquez has been playing right back, but he's like a squad player for Real Madrid. So like he's playing right back now because
No, he's not talking. He's not talking about you. He's talking about
what he said honesty, right?
I know you probably mean honestly.
Yeah.
When I first read it, I was like, no, but he didn't say. But I just read the chat.
But like for real, what other Real Madrid right back has even challenged Carvajal's spot? Like I said, I've named 3 Real Madrid left backs since 2010s. Carvajal's been the consistent dude there for
remember they've had Danilo there. They've had who else have they had? They've had pure players there. They had Hakimi there for a bit, like as a youngster.
But they didn't use him.
They didn't use him. It's got to the point where like they didn't have a right back for so long, and the new Carvalho's always available and he's ever present. It's like, you know what? Why are we even buying a right back? We can just put Vázquez there, innit? Keep the quota low, and we can just put Vázquez at right back. So there's only the Trent talks only popping up now because of the injury Carvalho's had and his age now. It's like, is this the time? Otherwise, there wouldn't be this conversation, man.
How long? It doesn't even matter because he's played for England already. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna leave that one. Honestly, he's asking, and Steve, I'm gonna get you. I do want to get your opinion in a sec. I guess this is for both of you. Should it be like what Lee Gunner said? And I don't know what he said, but I'm assuming it's this. Give one for each position. So best goalkeeper, midfielder, attacker, because a goalkeeper, defender will, of course, at this moment in time, never actually win it. Do you guys think that we should have the Ballon d'Or as more of a, because obviously they do have you get Ballon d'Or, and then I swear you get don't they do that anymore where they do best goalkeeper? What they do, they got the Yashin
UEFA, but they got the UEFA word.
That's it, UEFA award. So do you think it should just be now the Ballon d'Or is now just given as a position award as opposed to?
I think. Do you know what I think it should be? Technically, right? Technically, I think it would iron out all the creases, right? It should be in the top leagues in Europe, right, or in all the leagues in Europe, right? You got the best player or the person that wins Player of the Year in the Portuguese league, Player of the Year in France, Player of the Year in Spain, Player of the Year in England, Player of the Year in Germany. They go up against each other to go and see who's the best, who everyone votes out of that group as the best player, because there's too much of a disparity. You can't have Phil Foden winning Player of the Year. Did he win Player of the Year last year?
I think so.
Yes.
So he won Player of the Year, but he's what? 11th. You're not even in the top 10 at this point. What? So how's Rodri ended up number 1? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. What it should be, you should automatically be removed if you do not win your Player of the Year in your league. Because
what about Player of the Tournament?
Yeah,
Champions League or the international.
No, but Player of the Tournament again. So Player of the Tournament's one where you get in, but then you can be ranked as and you were the best player in the tournament. Who do we think is the best player? I think you could do it for the Champions League. I think for the Euros and stuff, it's difficult because you could be the worst player like you playing for some mad team and then win player of the tournament because you had a good tournament. I think when you're looking at the Ballon d'Or, you're looking at what you did over a certain period of time. You have to take into, I mean, that's what the player of the year is, right? They're taking into consideration what you did from 23 to 24. So if Foden won 23 to 24, Foden should easily be in the top 10. Easily, without question. You were the best player that season. How can you win player of the year in the Premier League when the Premier League is apparently the best league in the world for some, but you end up 11th?
What by the way, I agree with that. What I don't understand is, I wonder how they kind of how they do it, because when I think of best players in the world, and Ballon d'Or is supposedly for the best player in the world, by definition, for me, I don't see how then, if you're rating it across all of these tournaments and all of these leagues, I don't then see, and no disrespect to him, how Cole Palmer would make this list at all. You didn't play no European football last season. You only played in the, you, by the way, had a blind over season last season, by the way. Really, really good player. But you didn't play at the top level at all last season in club football. And you were a bit part player for England when it came to the tournament, if we're going to count, if they want to count that as well, but which I think they're doing anyway. But you were a bit part player. I don't care how important you weren't important because you never started the games. You were on the bench for other players like Saka's and the Fodens, and all these guys were ahead of you. So I don't get how can you then say, well, he has to be amongst some of the best players in the world when, I'm sorry, but I didn't see him competing in the best tournaments. His team didn't do that well last season. He did extremely well, but his team didn't. No award. His team won no awards last season. So he's not picking up any trophies last season, but somehow he makes the list. Considering when I look at all these other names, other than maybe outside of, even Matt Hummels got to a Champions League final. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, there's a few, maybe 𝐓𝐇𝐀, maybe, but the rest of them all seem like, other than Harry Kane as well, Lookman won the Europa League. Nico Williams, obviously a part of the thing. I'm trying to think. Martinez won the Copa. Kalinoglu won with Inter. Rudiger. Everyone else kind of on here, other than Saliba and the Arsenal guys, they've all kind of won.
Didn't win anything with Girona.
Yeah, but if we're going to by what Jerry said in terms of picking it that way, I'm more onto that though, or I'm more into that, should I say? Because I'm like, I feel like that makes it a lot more fairer. I don't need to see a top 30 list. I don't care if you man came 25th. Like, am I supposed to tell my kids like, oh, I came 25th in the Ballon d'Or in 2024?
I mean, to be fair, if you were playing and you found out that at one point you were the top 20, you were voted top 30 player in the world at one given point, you probably go back to your kid like, bro, at one point I was top 30 in the world, bro. I was like, where are you, bro? Like,
8 billion people live on this earth, and you're the top 20 in anything. That's impressive.
It's impressive to like the ego, but I'm okay. Yes. So to the player, like in terms of, if you look at it like that, yes. But I'm just talking in terms of the credibility for the actual award in itself. I'm just like, I don't need like Jerry said, I just need if you're gonna do it that way. So the top league, so England, France, Italy, Spain, Germany, Portugal. I don't know who's after in terms of Eredivisie. Yeah, like cool. If you're gonna, let's just say you just pick 10 leagues. Yeah, you pick the top 10 leagues that are out there, and you say, all right, these 10 individuals are gonna all battle it out for the Ballon d'Or winner. Then you have the top 10 players. I can live with that because then I'm like, okay, well, Foden then has to be, as Jerry said, technically Rodri wouldn't really win it then, so to speak.
And that's the way I think it should be done. That's the way I think it should be done. So if you're,
it would make the award more credible.
Again, if Rodri was like, let's say he was where you'd probably put him in. Let's say he came second in the voting for Player of the Year, right? But then had the Euros that he had, right? And then in the Champions League had a better Champions League than Foden. Then you could see, oh yeah, but you probably done better than him. But it needs to be streamlined a bit more because at this point, like, who's ranking as well? Was it just the players that have been voted?
I don't know who. Let me find out who actually.
If it's the players that have been voted,
by the way,
then Rodri deserves to win it because his peers have said he's better. So why is Vinicius crying?
The people who vote for Ballon d'Or are people in French football, because obviously Ballon d'Or is a French football award. It's 𝐒𝐿'Équipe. So it's a bunch of journalists and stuff like that.
Okay, he's saying So according to UEFA, the Ballon d'Or honor is awarded every year by an international jury of specialist journalists, with one representative per country from the top 100 in the latest FIFA rankings for men and the top 50 FIFA rankings for women. Okay. So it's specialized journalists, and it's a representatives from every country in the top 100. They then vote for who they think is obviously where they would put.
Yeah, and this is just what it should be really, right? Is either fans voting for it like it is in the NBA, where the fans have a
because then we'll end up with a Nunez. We'll end up with a Darwin Nunez. That's the problem with that.
No, but you wouldn't. No, but it would have to be. But obviously you see it. But otherwise, in the NBA, you'd have that then, innit?
Yeah.
In the NBA, you'd have just someone random win it. Like it doesn't happen. You need to have a good season. So we need to get to a point where I don't know.
But playoffs do count quite heavily in the MVP though, because usually it's going to be a player who's playing in the playoffs. Like you couldn't have had an individual sick regular season not make the playoffs and still be considered for the MVP, if that makes sense.
100%. Like you have to had a good season, innit? Like there has to be a metric where it's like, this is what I'm saying. So like the metric for, you see when I'm seeing like who else is here? Like 𝐒𝐷 cool. I mean, like even the Arsenal players, you didn't win jack, bruv. You didn't win jack. Like you didn't win anything.
They won the hearts of the fans, though, Jerry.
Not these fans. Big up Ram, love for obviously joining, and guys, obviously big up Honesty, by the way, for putting in everyone's links in there, guys. It's in there, man. So make sure you guys subscribe. Steve, I'll come to you, and Ram, I'll come to you afterwards. So obviously, you know why we're here, you know what we're chatting about. If you had to, I'll ask you this, and I'll ask Ram this as well. If you had to pick a winner for the Ballon d'Or, like your own, let's say you're one of the journalists. Who's your top three? I'll actually ask you, not even your top one. Who's your top three?
All right, we'll go with my winner would be Carvajal. I agree with you on that. I go Danny Carvajal 1. Number 2, I'd be going honest to God with Lautaro.
Okay.
Lautaro Martinez, and then number 3, I'd be going with. Number 3, I'd be going with probably. That's tough. Probably go Haaland. Something like that. Actually, no, I'll go Rodri. I will go. No, take that back. I'll go Rodri.
Go Rodri. So you got Carvajal.
I go Carvajal, Lautaro, Rodri.
It's actually crazy when you think about it, because I know that wasn't anybody would have picked, but it's funny, like, if fans were allowed to vote, which, to be fair, I guess why that would be even more biased, because then you just get bare fans from one club just choosing this one player all the time, so it probably wouldn't even work.
They would have to select players, and then you'd have to vote on those.
Yeah. Otherwise, it would just become
get like Dan Burn in there and shit.
Yeah, but this is it though. People would just be like, "Nah, you know what? We're gonna just fuck it up this season." Ram, I hope you're good, bro. Hope you're driving safe first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? Chat to us, bro, man. Who would your top 3 be if you had to pick Ballon d'Or?
I think the Danny Carvajal shout is a good one. And I think people forget what that guy's done for Real Madrid and what he did for Spain this season. He's been probably the most consistent player this season, both for club and country. For me, though, I'm gonna have to. I want to say I'm happy, but Rodri ain't no scrub, as people are making out to be on social media, saying that Vini was robbed. Vini, like, Rodri don't deserve it. I'm like, yo, we're talking about Rodri, yeah? We're talking about a guy that's one of the best footballers in the world, technical footballers in the world. Yeah. We're talking about a guy that is probably the most important player for arguably the best team in the world, one of the best teams of this generation.
Yeah.
And having all this chess for him, like, is ridiculous. Like, there's bare City fans saying the league is done because he's out. They don't care about Kevin De Bruyne. It's him. Because of him, City fans are scared whether they're going to win this league this season. That speaks volumes about how good of a footballer this guy is.
Yeah.
It feels. I was speaking to G. I was speaking on the group chat before. This whole situation reminds me of Nedved and Henry back in the day, where people are saying like Henry deserved it, Henry robbed it, Nedved didn't deserve that. Like, bro, we're talking about Pavel Nedved. Like, the guy's a baller. The guy, bro, even if you go look at the GA, yeah, he's a flipping winger. He was an old school winger, and he's putting up these numbers. It's crazy, man. Like, people like to rate Robert Pires, and Robert Pires was world class at that time. Nedved was a level above that. and people need to understand that. And all these players that you're thinking of, they're not mugs. They're not mugs. And I feel like this disrespect towards Rodri, like as a rival, I hate him. I actually genuinely hate him. And that's not because of who he is. It's because he's a fucking sick footballer.
He's so good. Yeah.
And he plays for our rival. So I want some more respect on his name. And let me ask you something, yeah? Vini was good for Real Madrid. What did he do for Brazil?
Absolutely nothing.
He was pants. Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, Lautaro Martinez was getting the golden boot, scoring in virtually every game.
Facts. And I'll tell you this, yeah? People will put more respect on Vini if he does more for Brazil. Why do people respect Ronaldinho? Why do people respect Ronaldo? Why do people respect Rivaldo? Why do people...
Brazil Ronaldo never even won the Champions League. Can you imagine? That's crazy.
Legit. Brazil have had ballers. Brazil have had so many ballers. They had players who are probably technically better than Vini, but they're not as loved as Ronaldo, as Rivaldo, as Dunga, as Romario, because those guys proved it for Brazil.
Yeah.
This guy hasn't done anything. You could arguably say Martinelli's done more for Brazil than he has. And that says a lot.
Yeah.
And you're talking about the quality of Vinicius. He's world class. He's a world class footballer. But why are we putting people like Martinez there, like Carvajal there, for Rodri there, club and country? And I always said this: club football, you can be amazing, but country football is where you leave your legacy. That's where you become well known. Why do you think people like Gerrard and Lampard, they get cooked because they did nothing for England? But for the clubs, you can't talk because they've done so much for their club. But for England, what do? Like Beckham is probably the most respected English player of that generation. Why? Because he always put in a good performance for England. He always turned up when they needed him, and the others didn't. So when people say international football and everything, and he's robbed, international football counts for a lot of these rewards, man. It counts for a lot. If you had a major tournament, you got to perform. If you don't perform, you're not going to be in these conversations. You know? Like Neymar. Bro, Brazil fans don't treat Neymar like they treat some of their World Cup winners. And Neymar's arguably one of the most talented players. He's probably, in terms of technique-wise, he's up there with the likes of Ronaldinho. Yeah. But he's not on that conversation because he didn't do it for Brazil.
Problem is the difference with Neymar, though, right? Like if we're speaking about Neymar, is Neymar was a player that was, unlike Ronaldinho, that was an unknown entity. Unlike all the others that were just like went to a small league in Europe, you know what I mean, crafted their trade. From the moment he turned like 10, yeah, he was touted as, you are the Pele regen, you are the guy. He's the only one in modern football that's had that pressure and has somewhat lived up to it, to the point where you saw Neymar, right? Like Ronaldinho, let's don't get it twisted. Let's not get it twisted. Ronaldinho went and was done really well for Brazil, but look at that Brazil squad. He scored that free kick. Apart from that, you had Brazilian Ronaldo. That was the Don Dada in that team. You had Rivaldo. That was the Don Dada in that team. From a defensive standpoint, you had Cafu, you had Roberto Carlos. When it was his team, what did Ronaldinho do? Jack. When he was the guy, what did Zidane do upon his retirement game? He dunked on them. In 2006, he dunked on them. Neymar's the only one we've gone and seen, right, that looked like he was dragging his team anytime. He dragged his team to whether it's the Olympics or Copa America, I forgot what it was. Olympics, I think. He's the one that, before he got injured,
even World Cup,
and even the World Cup just gone, you saw what he did to get that goal. They should have never conceded after that. It should have been done and dusted, you know. You see what he did, that goal?
No, Croatia, right?
Croatia,
yeah. That was literally one man against the team.
Yeah.
So one thing I would say with Neymar, that's the difference. That's why Neymar, for me, is when people talk about who's the next after Messi and Ronaldo, it's him, because of like PSG call, you can argue, but when it came to Brazil, he's never had a helping hand. He had Fred up top in that, and after that he had Richarlison.
Yeah, that's fact. Although though, JJ, there is a caveat to that. The time where they actually won Copa America, he wasn't there.
Yeah, but he was injured. But he wasn't available, innit? But I'm saying when he was. But when he was there, so I think Olympics.
And in 2014 World Cup when they got blitzed 7-0 to Germany, he wasn't there. He got injured the previous game.
Thiago Silva wasn't there as well either. I just putting that out there. Just putting that out there. Yeah. I hear it. But that's the thing, right?
Do you think Vinicius has got that framed, G?
Yeah, bro, of course. That's why I got a picture. I was like, bro, he definitely got that framed. He wanted to obviously take a better picture and that, like, you know what I'm saying? Something that he can put on the mantelpiece. And but listen, you win the Ballon d'Or, you're putting that on the mantelpiece. Unless you're Messi and Ronaldo and you've got like so many where it's like, I don't need a mantelpiece. I'm just gonna make a room for this, like this kind of award, almost like Man of the Match awards. You know, you keep them somewhere, just they're here boxed up or whatever. But obviously, listen,
on JJ's point, sorry, G. On JJ's point, compare it to Vinicius now and what Neymar had to deal with, especially the latter periods where Marquinhos and obviously Thiago Silva was getting older. Neymar's team, the biggest issue was the defense, like because a lot they got peppered with shots. Sometimes Alisson would have to make some mad saves to get them out of trouble. But also, when you compare it to Vinicius's team, look, you got Rafinha, you obviously got Vini himself,
Rodrigo,
you got Rodrigo, you got ballers, but you can't score goals. That's their big issue. They can't score goals, and their team is talented enough to score goals. At least with Neymar, you would know you would get a goal from somewhere, whether it be from Neymar giving an assist, Neymar doing some stupidness, or Neymar getting a goal himself. You know,
that World Cup was the indicator, right? He got injured in the first couple games, or he done his ankle, right? He was out for the next game, came back after that for the Croatia game, right? Because they got through, and Vinicius didn't do anything in that game. It was Neymar that had to go and get. You saw it. You got the ball off the centre back. You got the ball, dribbled, 1-2 with the midfielder, carried on 1-2, gets into the box and scores. That for me is from an attacking standpoint. That's influential. We've seen your Ronaldinho's do that. You've seen your Ronaldo's do that. We've seen Messi do that, right? Vinicius, for me, when I look at it, has he had to drag his team, man, at any given point? Because for me, I felt like Bellingham did it last season for Madrid. Irrespective of the numbers he got, Vinicius was really, really good. But did he do that? I don't know. Maybe you'd know more. I don't watch every Real Madrid game to say that he did.
Bellingham was incredible. Like not even just the goals, but like his general performances were on a super high level last year for Real Madrid up until around January, February.
Fair enough.
It was after they lost to Atletico Madrid away in the Copa del Rey, I noticed a drop off. I'm pretty sure because they lost to them in La Liga at Atletico, and then they lost there again in the Copa. I think the league game was first in October-ish, and I think the Copa del Rey quarterfinal game was around January, December-ish. And then he just started to decline, and that's when Vini would pop up. That's when So when Bellingham dropped off a bit, Vini upped his levels for sure. I think it's one of those.
I got a bounce, yeah. I appreciate you. It's only gonna be a little thing, but yeah, it is what it is.
Big up, bro. Love.
That's it's interesting. I was just gonna say, sorry, I was just gonna point out the Honesty's comment about Bale. That's one of the maybe lone exceptions in terms of like he was a baller for. But I think maybe the one way you could explain that though is Wales only made one or two tournaments with Bale.
For real, yeah.
So that's we ain't watching Wales friendlies where Bale is balling out, or Wales Nation League games, or Wales World Cup qualifying games, unless it's they're playing someone notable. So I think maybe because he only had that one tournament for Wales, but at the same time. Think of someone like, I don't know, 𝐒𝐷𝐃 for Bulgaria. Did Bulgaria qualify for more than one or two tournaments with him in there? I don't think so. Were they consistently qualifying for World Cups and Euros?
I'm gonna say no, but that'll be me just wildly guessing.
Yeah,
like wild. But I know they qualified for maybe a one or two. I can't
because like obviously 𝐒𝐷𝐃 balled out at '94 World Cup. Romania, obviously with Romanian player that everyone. Oh my God, what's his name?
Hagi.
Yes, Hadji obviously has that like.
Hey, Hadji
like,
was a
exactly. But like, how many club games have you watched of Hadji? You remember him in the Romania shirt, like that guy. So it is weird with Bale because even in that instance,
no, I remember Hadji from didn't he play for Coventry?
Ooh,
didn't he
might have.
Coventry? Hold on, let me check. I'm sure he played for Coventry. Why is it not? What's his name?
Georgie Hadji.
Georgie Hadji.
I know he played for Gala. He did play for Galatasaray. Actually won a UEFA Cup there in '99 or something.
Oh no, he didn't.
Nah, he only played in Turkey and Romania.
He played for Madrid for 2 seasons.
Yeah,
Barca for 2 seasons. That's so weird how you play for Barca and Madrid.
Yeah, that's a trivial question right there.
Yeah,
no, honestly, I agree with you about Bale. He is disrespected as 100%.
When you say Bale's disrespected,
or maybe underrated is a better word.
Okay, but even still, you would say, okay, let's go with that premise that you feel like Bale's underrated, yeah. But how high are you rating him? Is really the question. I feel like where is he being rated that you feel that he's under? Like people are putting him under that. I feel like he's rated exactly how he is. Bale was good at Real Madrid. Like he was super sick. Well, not for the whole time, but he was good for like the majority of the time.
Out of the past 10 years, I'll put it like this, and it's nice because I've been watching football for about 10 years. Out of the past 10 years I've been watching football, and you'll speak on Bale before 2014. Like out of the 10 years that I've been watching football, I struggled to name right wingers that are as good as he was.
Fairs.
Top three wingers of the world in football.
I would say,
and I don't know if people would.
Go on.
I don't know if people would agree with that or not. Is that?
No, I would say from 2010 to.
Is that when he got to Real Madrid? When it's
no. He got to Real Madrid at 2013. To be fair,
okay.
I'm saying from 2010. This is when he was still at Spurs. Yeah. So 2010. That was the year that he did the run against Maicon and
was it Inter Milan?
Yeah, when he was still doing that like the left back stuff. Yeah, but let's say from that year, because obviously he wasn't world class that year, but that's when it started. Like that, from like you said about Rodri, that's when he became good. He was just good.
Yeah.
From that year, 2010, I'm just looking at his years now, till maybe about
2018.
Yeah. So for 8 years, you would have said. Like he was on a trajectory, and then he reached the pinnacle, I would say, when he joined Real Madrid. To be fair, I feel like those first 3 or 4 seasons that he joined Real Madrid, I was like, "Fucking hell, this Bale guy is."
What you mean the season when he tapped it past Mark Bartra and ran off the pitch and that? Do you remember?
Yes.
When he tapped it, Mark Bartra pushed him off the pitch and man went round him.
Okay, Jerry, we don't need to. Yeah. But
the Copa del Rey final.
That season, yes, that's what I'm talking about. That's when I felt like Bale was like, yes, Jerry, yes. Well, that's keep banging on. Don't worry, like yes, that
watch it.
That salt in the wound.
Yeah, Anyways, during them, because that's when they had the whole Bale, Benzema, Ronaldo thing. I remember the orange kit when they played Schalke. I don't know why that came against Schalke. Yeah, pause. You see what I'm saying? So like, that team,
Fucking hell, man.
But that team was like that front line, should I say? And I should say that team because they still have Modric, Cruz, Casemiro. Like that team was mad that they had during that period of time. And I remember just thinking Bale was hard, but I wouldn't put Bale above Neymar. Like if we had to do an all-time list, Bale's not going above Neymar. Like. No, unless we're saying, is that what people are saying? He's going to
know what it is. You know what it is, though? The problem you had, you see, like, even though Bale was that guy and in the Champions League, he came up trumps in it, like, a few times, and in Copas, he came up trumps as well. Like, he was that guy. Unfortunately, you were in a team with Ronaldo, innit?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's what it was. Like, you were in the team with Ronaldo. Di Maria was
that's like Neymar with Messi.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But remember, you know what? They're just different players. Neymar's got more of an effect on the whole game. That's what it is. The way he plays, he's got. Whereas Bale's like once he gets it in the final third, he's tapping it like this. Vinicius is more like a Bale for me. Like that's how I look at them. They're like weapons in the
moments.
weapons. They've got their moments, but cool, but they're weapons. Neymar was a player where he weren't just a weapon like that. You'd come into the pocket in midfield and get it, and it was like, man's gonna do all of this on you and disrupt the whole midfield and then get it. Hazard's more like that. Do you know what I mean? Whereas he's more of like a weapon, and that's what it is for me. It's like Vinicius winning it, do well and great, but when I look at the players that have done it before, bar Ronaldo, but we know how many goals Ronaldo was getting and Haaland were getting and stuff. Yeah. The rest of them, they're all players that even like a Nedved, where they affect everything in the game. It wasn't just like, I'm a weapon, that's all I do. Well, like same as Van Dijk. Van Dijk weren't just, all I did is just make headers in clearances. It was, man was spraying the passes to this, man was scoring important goals for Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? It was everything else that came with, same with Rodri as well. It weren't just, I'm a DM. It wasn't just, oh, he was really good as a DM and done. It was, I was getting important goals. I got important assists. Do you know what I mean? I was stopping goals. When I wasn't, the team weren't doing well. It's that whole package. And that's what I'm not sure about Vinicius. Was if Vinicius weren't there, would Real Madrid still have done well?
Maybe not one Champions League.
Rodrigo just played on the left and they had someone else on the right.
That's the problem. Someone else.
Let's say there's someone of equal value of a Rodrigo on the right.
Let's say, whoever that is in their team. It could have been anyone.
And they had Rodrigo on the left.
Or Valverde. Let's say they had Valverde on the right, like they have done before.
Yeah, because he could do that.
Because he can do that, and then had.
I don't know if they'd win Champions League, but I think that they were clearly better in La Liga. Like La Liga, they just were the better team. Like Barca, Atletico just won. So but at the same time, I can't even discount Real Madrid because we know what Real Madrid are about anyway. So I can't even fully even say Real Madrid wouldn't have won the Champions League because I've seen them play shit and win Champions League. So I don't actually know.
They just got smacked for love, but they'll probably still end up with one of the big two.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it's
what it is as well, though. Do you know what it is as well? If we're being honest, right? The top three of any Ballon d'Or, I mean, to win a Ballon d'Or should be difficult. So it should be tight in it. There should be an argument for all three. So even when you had, like, there was an argument for Van Dijk, but there was an argument for Messi, and there was an argument for Ronaldo when he was there. In the same way, there's an argument for all three of them. You can make a fair argument, and depending on how much you value one segment or one part of the criteria than the other, it will sway your decision. Like some people look at it and be like, no, Vinicius got all those goals, and that's why he should be there. Other people look at, like you said, Dani Carvajal and look at his impact from his position and see how. Do you know what I mean? I think even that top five, you all deserve to. You're all, if you're top three, top four, top five, it's for me. It's like there's an argument to say why you should be number one in it. There is, but unfortunately, someone's got to win in it.
No, that's true. You know, okay. You see, just before we move on to the other awards, it's funny. I was just thinking about. You see, when you said about like. I was complaining about having like a top 30 and you were like, nah, but imagine like you get older and that, and you know what I'm saying, you could actually tell people like, bro, I was one of the top 30 players in the world. That must be like what like players like, even players like 𝐒𝐶𝐃 or
you would never think that. Like, you know, like all of them, like you never
they'll be looking at like Kalanoglu, you're probably looking thinking, bro, I was rated the top 20 players, like best players in the world at one time.
I love watching Çalhanoğlu.
No, he's a good I'm not saying he's right, but like if you look at the people above him, you're like, well, they all deserve to be ahead of you, kind of thing. But
and you see that Martinez one day. You see like Emiliano Martinez. I love that story because that's a player that was in the, do you know what I mean, in the depths of League Two and League One, just doing that madness on loan, goes to Arsenal. He's not wanted by the manager, has to go to Aston Villa. You know, it's looking like for him, I'm just going to have a football career. I'm not going to be the main guy for Argentina and that. I'm just going to have a good football career. And all of a sudden, he played for Argentina, wins what he has done. You see what he's done with Aston Villa now, where Aston Villa are playing, unbeaten in the Champions League. And to go and look at that list and be like, like, I'm voted 18th best player, like, and I'm a keeper.
Same with Ademola Lookman.
That's a great Ademola Lookman as well.
Ademola Lookman, same thing. He started his career in England with Charlton. I think he was Charlton Athletic.
Charlton, man.
And look where he is now. I mean, at Fulham, he was all right. Leicester, he was all right. But
he's the only African on the list.
He's the only African on the list.
Depends. Rudiger's a real African as well.
I mean, okay. I mean, in terms of ones who play for their country.
Yamal is Moroccan, Spanish.
Yeah. Okay, fair. I didn't even know he's Moroccan, to be fair. That I should have really known. All right, let's move on. Obviously, to the other awards. Obviously, you know, Ballon d'Or. Of course, you got all these other kind of things. These ones are kind of simple. I think we probably agree with most of this. This is the Copa Award. So this is the for the young players, best young player, obviously out there. it'll be real sick when we find, if we ever see a time when the best player wins Ballon d'Or and the Copa
Lamine
trophy.
Yamal would be the one to crack that, wouldn't he?
Cool. Yeah. No, he's definitely the only one. I think. Can you? No, not can you, because technically the rule is probably you could. Do you think we would ever see that? And if so, from this list that you've got here, because this is the top 10 that they put out, I think. Is there any player, or is it just Lamine Yamal, you think, who could easily win both? By the way, I think he's only got maybe another year or two to be eligible for this award. Because if he balls out again, I can't see why he can't win it again.
I'm looking at the top two, and I think Lamine Yamal, I think he'll get it. I think he'll do it this season, and then I think Zaire Emery possibly. I think he's a phenomenal player.
I think he's a good player. Zaire Emery. He'd have to have like a Rodri season, innit? Like he'd have to be something like even like a João Neves. They'd have to have like those are they're not players that just stand out to you and think they're going to win it. I think Bellingham, did he win this award, Copa?
Yes.
I think he's the only one. Him and Yamal are the ones that are going to win it next. If Bellingham can get back to what he done last season, I think there's no because for England, he's the one, like Ram speaking about Beckham, he's the only one that steps up. When you look at England right now, it's if he don't step up, there's no chance in hell. He needs that. If he has a good game, Liverpool, England, doesn't matter who they're playing, they're gonna have a chance. He's just that he's got that aura about him. I don't know how else to describe it. When he plays with that swagger, like I'm the guy, give me the ball, I'm gonna do something. Yamal for me is obviously in that group is the standout candidate. I don't see the rest of those players. I mean, Savinho, really.
I think he had a good season for Girona.
Very good season.
Pau Kubasi.
He had a good season.
Kubasi on Saturday was phenomenal.
But forget even Saturday. Last season in that Champions League, he was good, man. He was good. He was good. But not outstanding. Not outstanding candidates. You're right. He's definitely even Arda Güler wouldn't be
in there. Like
Güler needs game time. I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Güler would be. He wouldn't even make top 10 of this next season because he's not going to play. I can see it already. He's just not going to be able to play.
Thing is, he's one that if he played, there'd be actually a discussion about, Yamin Yamal and who should maybe win it in that category. Because when you saw how he performed for Turkey, it was it was like a breath of fresh air. It was what?
And in certain spots for Real Madrid off the bench, he would be like, oh my God, he turned the game around. Like last year, there were a few very good Güler appearances.
The problem that
he reminds me of Cole Palmer at Man City. Because at Man City, Palmer, I didn't watch every Man City game, but there was the odd game here and there.
At Man City.
They bring on this kid, Cole Palmer, and he's doing something. Ooh, okay. Wonder if he would get more game time, kind of thing. So that's the kind of vibe he gives me. Yeah,
he needs to obviously listen. Look, I don't know what's going to happen with Carlo Ancelotti in terms of for next season and stuff like that, but. They're going to be in another Odegaard situation if they're not careful, because the reality is he's not going to play, bro. They've just signed Mbappe. They signed then Endrick, bro. He's definitely further down that pecking order unless he's able to play another position where you're just like, all right,
right wing.
You're not. He's not going to get in right wing. I just can't see it. Unless Rodrigo gets injured, and then I even feel like they'll just start putting I think he's a good player, and I think he's super talented. And Jerry's right, and you're right. If he was playing more, there would be more of a discussion between him and Yamal. What I saw for during the Euros, I was like, there should be a discussion, but you're not playing. I just think he needs to do one of those. Remember, what's the
Coutinho, even like a Coutinho.
like Kubo when he was at Real Madrid and then go to Real Sociedad. Yeah, you need that because you ain't staying here.
Or when Hakimi went to Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, Hakimi's another one. Do
you know what's mad though? Just before. What was I gonna say, man? It was on the youngster, the pool, man, is it's looking a bit scary, bro. When I'm seeing
the Garnacho inclusion, it should have been Kenan Yildiz.
No, but to be fair, think about it like this. Look at all of the young players who are in this list.
Who would you consider young? What age bracket?
Yeah, let me say that I'm going to find out what their actual age bracket for.
No, because obviously young's look, 25 is young, but I mean in football terms, when do we say, he's not young anymore, he's just a player? Because Haaland's 24 now?
How old do you think Florian Wirtz is?
22.
21.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But when do we say young in it? Because Verts is young. Like Verts, 22 is young, but
21,
like,
yeah.
All right, so the Copper Award is only for 21 and under. So I would say for me, I look at, I'll be real, when you start to get to like 23, I'm like, I don't really call you a young player.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I just don't see you as like a young player like that, if that makes sense. But,
young players
yeah,
like 20 and under?
No, so the
Yeah.
Copper Award is 21 and under.
Okay.
So you could still be 21 and because I'm sure Jude Bellingham is 21, 22. He's 21. He's turning 22 next year. So yeah, he could technically still have won this award.
Yeah, he's 21. 21.
I'm just trying to figure out what young players are even on here actually who would be considered. So Jude Bellingham, obviously. Verts, obviously.
21.
Nico Williams.
Cole Palmer is.
I don't know how old Palmer is actually.
Palmer's at 23, 24.
So it's what?
22. He's 22.
He's 22.
22.
He
Okay.
turned it in May.
And he turned 22 in May.
Oh, okay, so he's gonna be 23. That's what. Yeah, this
So he's gonna be 23. Okay.
Still young.
You'd think he'd be a bit younger than that though. The way that
You know why? Because he plays like he plays like he's been around the block.
Yeah.
Like
and it's just maybe that's it. Yeah.
So okay, so there's obviously a few of the better younger players obviously are in this anyway. So when you're then looking at like, to be honest, I feel like this is kind of right. I hear what you're saying in terms of the pool is not.
Is Karim Konate good? Because I've never heard of the guy.
Striker for RB. So yeah, for like that level, like his next move has got to be like a Leipzig. Like he ain't going anywhere.
Borussia Dortmund, somewhere Frankfurt, somewhere like that.
Yeah, like that level of type of play right now.
No, if he's smart, he would do something like yeah.
But the rest of them, Kubasi, I think could be a top centre back anyway. But that's me being super.
Yeah, no, that's not bias at all. Kubarsi is bro. I remember his debut was a away game at Real Betis last January. I was like, who is this guy? Because he didn't look out of place. He didn't.
Yeah, he plays like an experienced.
Betis away. They don't lose games at their play. That's a tough place to go. And and that was at the time. That was with Xavi last year when they had their injury crisis and the defensive crisis as well. They improved defensively, not to a huge level, but Kubarsi to some extent stopped the bleeding in certain games where if he wasn't there and if it was someone else, it's a different story. So for me, Kubarsi is. Yeah, he's exceptional. He showed it on Saturday, bro. He showed it on Saturday. He was outstanding.
Fermin Lopez, nah, he doesn't deserve to be in not in this list anyway, bro. Trust me, he's good though. But he's not in this list. And this is what I said to you. This is what I was trying to ask you guys. The reason why Musiala won't be in this list is because he was voted into the list before for last year with the one that Jude Bellingham won. I think that they don't put people in twice in these lists. For the young player thing, because otherwise you would just put Musiala and like all of these guys, like basically Florian Wirtz should be in this list technically.
So what it is that if you've been put in the list already, that's it. So like Yamal can't win it again.
Yeah. That's what I was. Yeah, that's all because I just checked it now, and I don't think you could win it twice. Like you just win it once, and then they tried to do this award more, I guess, somewhat fairly. I guess you could technically say that because you're like, well, we're recognizing. But then at the same time, if Lamine Yamal is the best player, for example, next year, why can't he technically win
it again?
I feel like out of them, you got Lamine Yamal, of course, but I think the standout, like the one that looked out like, this brother's like a man amongst boys is Bellingham. That's it.
Yeah.
Like honestly,
because he looks, even his stature.
His stature, the way he carries himself, he's got that. I don't know how to call it, but you know, it's someone that he's not an aura.
He has got an aura about him like that. Yeah. The way that he kind of plays. All right, this is obviously the goalkeeper one. Obviously, we know Martinez won it. Were you guys surprised to not see Alisson in this list, or do you not think that Alisson deserved to be in this list, at least top 10?
How long was he injured for?
Very good question. I don't actually know.
Might have been what? Yeah.
If he's injured for bare long. He didn't win the Carabao Cup because it was Kelleher. What did you win?
Yeah, I hear.
What did you win? You were injured doing up steak, grilling steak, and praising God.
God, he is grilling like that steak, boy. Like he don't give a fuck. So last season he missed 15, 16, 17,
Yeah,
18,
for a
he missed
goalkeeper.
19 matches.
20
Yeah,
games.
for a goalkeeper, that's
You're invalid. That's it. Just invalid. Error.
yeah.
As
That's
a keeper,
how-
you're missing 20 games. Come on, man.
But even the top 5, I'm like, I don't know, rumor. I don't know, man. I feel like there's too many questions.
To be fair for Italy, if they didn't have Donnarumma, they would have lost every single game by multiple goals. But
that's more because Italy don't have another keeper. I don't feel like that's because of him, if that makes sense.
They don't have one at his level. Basically, Donnarumma stand out. Number 2 is like an 8 out of 10, and then they have 3 or 4 others that are like 8 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10, 8, like that kind of thing. He's just the 9 out of 10. Like he's got the gap between.
But even still, the fact that you just said that then makes me think that that's how I know he can't be that good, because if he's a 9 and the next guy's an 8, that shouldn't be, in my opinion, that you're almost as close to the second choice. Whereas, say for example, some people would say Ali's a 9 or 10. Let's say Ali's a 10, yeah. Then you're looking at Keller, you're like, well, he's like 7. Like in some people, I'm not saying everyone.
But do you know what I would say though? Do you know what I would say to that though? Obviously, I don't watch every game of Donnarumma, yeah. But when I watch him, I think he's got a mad presence in goal. In the Euros,
he's a big guy.
I'm saying what? We're talking like Vicario's poor. You know, Vicario's there, you know. Like
okay. So, but this is what I'm saying to you is that if we're saying that Vicario, that then tells me that Donnarumma can't be that. Like, okay, Neuer. The next keeper after Neuer probably would have been Ter Stegen. And there's a level, like there's a few levels between, in my opinion,
𝐒𝐷, to be fair, or
𝐒𝐷, but
𝐒𝐷's Swiss. 𝐒𝐷's Swiss.
But even still, there's like if let's just say as an overall, you said Neuer is like a 10, yeah, as a keeper in general.
Yeah.
Ter Stegen ain't an 8. Ter Stegen's like a 7. Like there is a level between like.
You think there's a big? You don't think he's an 8?
No. I don't rate Ter Stegen at all. I've never rated him. I've always said like I don't think he's that good. Yeah,
he's fallen off past 2 years.
Yeah, maybe he could have hit a trajectory where you could have been a 8 or 9 kind of keeper, but in the last
who's been better for Barcelona for you, Victor Valdez or Ter Stegen?
Ter Stegen's better, man.
I think Ter Stegen is better, but Valdez was better. But he fit what they were trying to do, because Valdez could play with his feet. He could do all of that stuff. Stegen can't do none of that. He's just a keeper, like
feet, no?
Nah, but not as good as Valdez, bro.
Valdez wasn't great with his feet like that, you know.
He don't need to be great. He don't need to be great. He just needed to be good enough to do what they needed to do. And I don't think Ter Stegen is that good. But listen, that's just me and being a tad bit biased because that's back then and whatever. But I've just never really. I thought Ter Stegen could be a better keeper though. But I've just felt like in the last few years. And I don't know if it's just maybe
the past 2 years he has declined 100%.
No doubt. And I'm just like, but you shouldn't be declining. Like you should be slightly getting like better. Like they should you should be saying to the German national team, yo, like now it's my time to finally be fuck Neuer. Like it's time for Neuer to like whatever, like at least be challenging a bit. And you're not doing that. I'm like,
is he injured all the time as well? Is he injured all the time?
Yeah. And listen, Alisson, you're soon gonna be, if you're not careful and you keep getting injured, you're gonna be heading down this poor path yourself. These times, what's his name is on the list? Mamadashvili. You know what I'm saying? Mamadashvili is taking Mamadashvili's here now. So
he's gonna save them again from relegation this year, almost by
I saw his last game.
On my fucking life.
He was moving.
He gets no help, bro.
He was moving mad.
No, but honestly, even saying and Ederson, you're talking like Ederson's a scrub, you know?
Yeah.
Ederson's a top.
Brother, Ederson's a top. Yeah. No.
Even I'm not. If Ederson's better than him, okay, that's calm.
I honestly, for me, I'm just saying for me, I don't look at Donnarumma and think. Then again, the list, as Jerry said about the other list, there's like the list isn't great. So cool. If you want to put Donnarumma in this list, that's fine, because there's not that many great keepers out there anyway. Like I don't rate Simon like that. Mainon, I think, is a very good keeper. Maybe you could put Mainon, I put in top 5 maybe. Lunin, like the reality is he's in there because Courtois was injured. I don't know how
he stepped up. To be fair, I think like if Newcastle were smart, bro, you bid Nick Pope this summer, and I said it in the summer that I'm looking at Nick Pope and I'm like, I'm sorry, you're declining. Give Real Madrid whatever they want for Lunin. Give whatever they want. I don't know if he'd go to Newcastle or not. Maybe some other clubs would offer more, but That's what I'd
Can't
be
see
doing.
why. I mean, if I'm going to get consistent game time,
he's sick.
Diego Costa for Porto, he's okay. Like,
he's good.
Yeah, like
Kobel for me should be higher. Gregor Kobel.
Kobel again. Who would he displace out of this list though? In the top 5, who did he come up for?
Honestly, last year for Donnarumma, to be honest.
Yeah, Mannion and Donnarumma can drop because when you think about it, he got to the Champions League.
I'm scared about Donnarumma.
Yeah, but he got to the Champions League final. Kobel.
Kobel.
Gregor Kobel maybe made 2 mistakes last year, but
he's a calm keeper.
He led them to that Champions League final in many aspects, and he kept Dortmund 5th because he was just getting shelled every single game. He's making he might have conceded 2 or 3 goals, but like they were clearly not his fault, kind of thing. Like he was just getting shelled in the Bundesliga in particular, but yeah, in the champs. Again, Kobel's another guy where it's like, yo, Newcastle, buy him. He's outstanding, kind of thing. So, but yeah, and no surprise.
Right. Obviously, the Big Dons were the club of the year, even though they didn't turn up. I didn't actually even watch the full thing, so I wasn't listening to what the Didier was saying and stuff about them not really being there. That's kind of interesting. And Carlo won the manager, men's manager or coach, as they like to call it, of the year. Do you guys agree with? Forget Madrid, because I think Madrid probably, I guess, because you win the Champions League, you would win it, right? I'm trying to think if there was a better manager or, excuse me, coach than him last season. In my eyes, I get why he won it because he won the Champions League, but I do think that Xabi Alonso had a better chance of kind of winning this, just because of what he did and what he achieved last season. I feel like you had to kind of reward that with bro, man,
if he won the Europa League final, he probably would have won it.
I hear it.
I think that might have been the difference, because our Ancelotti won his league against all the odds and what everybody thought Leverkusen were going to be. Alonso won his league, so they both have the league titles down. The cup, Leverkusen got the cup. That's cool, but they didn't get the European one in the league league that they was in. Real Madrid did, even though they didn't get the cup. So it's what you got a league and European Cup double or a league and cup double. I think this is compared to if you pull up with Europa, DFB Pokal and Bundesliga 3v2, then you have so I think that.
All right. There's one more question. You guys can see it in the thumbnail before we head on out of here. So, and I don't know why. I don't know, because it's not an international break, so I don't know why people are bored and were, wanted to have this debate. I'll get to that in a sec, though. Question from Honesty: who's got a better legacy in the Champions League, Pep or Ancelotti? So only Champions League. Who has a better legacy?
It's Ancelotti.
It would be, innit? Yeah.
It's not disrespect to Pep, but bro,
so he's won it with 5 times as well.
Yeah. And then as a player, he's won it.
He won 2. Yeah, I was about to say as a player as well. And Pep was a good player.
Didn't Pep win Champions League as a player?
With Barca in the 90s?
No, they didn't. No.
Yeah, the 1999. No, that was that's Bayern versus Manchester United.
Barca were poor them times.
Okay, let me check. Now you're gonna make me do Pep Guardiola prop. What did you win as a then?
As a player, he won La Liga 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6
times. He never won the Champions.
Oh
no, he won the European Cup.
He won the European Cup in 91, 92.
Yeah.
Won a Super Cup, Cup Winners' Cup.
Lost 4-0 in the final in 94 to Milan, though.
He still got one as a manager. He got his, what was Ancelotti managing, or was he?
Yeah.
Wow, he's managing in 92. You know how mad that is, bro.
It's Ancelotti.
94. Sorry, 94. Yeah. Pep won in 92, man. Yeah, come on, man. I'm saying a year after my birth and that. He knows that. So yeah, I'll agree with that. I think it's Ancelotti. So everyone, Arsenal fans are crying, as they do. You know, we did that show with ENDZ yesterday about Arsenal fans crying after the game. And, you know, they're crying about this as well. Somehow they've turned the Ballon d'Or, which had nothing to do with their team or players, because none of their players were close to winning it. Somehow they turned it into, it's a robbery, just like when Henry didn't win it in 03. In the 2003 Ballon d'Or. Obviously, this is before your time, Steve. So, and to be honest, I was only 2003. I was 91. I was only 12.
12. Okay.
Yeah, I was only 12 when he won it. Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, then there you go. So even younger. Obviously, just basing it on like stats and stuff like that. Because I guess where we would have to go with it. Do you think it was a robbery that he ended up not winning it? By the way, just to let you know, all he won that season was an FA Cup.
No.
Nedved was at Juventus this year, or was he at Lazio?
No, he was at Juventus.
Juve, right? So he went from Lazio to Juve. Yeah.
He was the main component in them winning the league, and then he didn't make the final, I believe, because he was suspended or injured, but dominated.
They played Milan. They played Milan in the final, right?
Yeah, and they beat Milan, and he dominated the final.
Semi-final.
Goals and assists can't be everything. His stats are amazing, but they have to contribute to winning. Otherwise, Harry Kane would be top 3 all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's just as simple as that.
I agree. So that year, for the 2002-2003 season, Thierry Henry won the FA Cup, Community Shield.
Oh, get out!
Yeah. Pavel Nedved that year won Serie A, the Coppa Italiana, should I say, runner-up in Champions League. Yeah, that was his thing for that year. Obviously, he won the Czech Footballer of the Year and all of those, like Serie A Footballer of the Year as well. Like, in fact, he was also voted best.
Was he a number 10?
No, he was a left winger. He was a left winger. Like, sorry, I'm not going to say winger. He was a left midfielder. This is when they still did midfield.
In a 4-4-2. Okay.
Yeah, literally. So yeah, I feel like with Arsenal fans, like, I'm not saying that Thierry Henry couldn't have won it. I'm not going to say that, because if I looked at the list, when I looked at the list of the winners of who was in that list that year, obviously I can't remember everyone's season. So the top 10 players that year: Nedved, Thierry Henry, Maldini, Shevchenko, Zidane, Van Nistelrooy, Raul, Roberto Carlos, Buffon, David Beckham, and R9 came in 11th behind David Beckham. That is hilarious. So those are the players that he was competing with.
What I would say about this is it's a French footballing award, and they gave it to a Czech dude. I think the Czech dude might have impressed him. I tested it. He might have.
And that's what I said. I said, brother, if you don't even give it to your own countrymen.
Yeah, for a dude from the Czech Republic. It's not like he's a Brazilian, and no disrespect for Czech Republic, but like that's not the #1 footballing nation out there. So if they're given if the stats say this and whatever, then he got voted in for a reason, bro. Clearly,
no, that's true.
And it's fine margins, so that's why there's the argument to this day, I guess.
That's what I say. Yeah, and that's what I said. Like, it's fine margins. By the way, Nick, leave Owen out of your list. Start from Nedved 2003.
Man said Nedved didn't deserve it.
But this is it. But this is it. Like, yeah, I know Henry in finals was a bit spooky still. But Henry as a player, like, he was like, yeah, he's a bit.
You know, like, listen, people need to remember, it's never going to be, right, like, solely based on individual performance. It's never going to be on who you think the best player is at any given time. Yeah. Because even now, like, I don't think Vinicius is the best player in the world. I don't think Rodri, I mean, I think he might be most influential. But even then, I wouldn't call him the best player in the world, in my opinion, if everything was equal. Like, pound for pound, just the best.
Yeah.
But he deserved it last season. Same way Nedved would have deserved it. Yeah, pound for pound, maybe Henry's better than him. But then pound for pound, R9's better than Henry. And Henry would claim testament to that. Do you know what I mean? And he came 11th. So it's just one of them ones where you just got to charge it.
Who do you think is pound for pound right now? Forget Ballon d'Or, is the best player in the world. Like, if you like players that, because you know, I don't think I've ever actually asked you, who do you consider to be the best player in the world right now? You might not have anybody to be fair, by the way. Steve, this is for you as well. But yeah. Who does Jerry James think is the best player in
If
world?
everyone's on form, if everyone's fit and just performing.
2024, the 29th of October. Who do you think is the best?
If
player?
everyone's fit, I need to. It's pound for pound. That's what I'm making that clear.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Pound for pound, like everyone's fit. Just like who do you think is the best? Like who do you think? It doesn't matter what they do between now and the end of now in the next 5 years. You're like, this is the best player right now at this present moment in time. I don't care if they're shit next season. They're still the best. Like. I know, yeah. I had that too, Alexander. I had a feeling you might say that.
You know, I'm gonna just go for it right now. I'll go Lamine Yamal. Fuck it. I don't care. I don't care.
It's your best player, bro.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care.
I'm serious, like, come on. Like this is not normal for a 17-year-old to do this.
It's not.
This is. Yeah.
I think it's for me. It's Kevin De Bruyne.
Okay.
When everyone is fit, when everyone is firing, when it comes down to like who is the best, like who do I look at and I think this is dumb, like dumb. Where I look at it and I'm like, it's almost like I don't see it often. It's De Bruyne for me. In terms of range of passing, the ability to win games on his own.
The goals from 50 yards out that he just
50
shoots.
yards, but then tap-ins and then the assists and then the delivery and then how consistent he is and the fact that he can be. Do you know what I mean? I think for me it's the KDB, but that doesn't mean he deserves to win the Ballon d'Or.
No, that's what I'm saying. Forget Ballon d'Or, because that's based on
ability
one season. I'm not even that. Ballon d'Or is only based on one season. Like, so
I think he's the one player that I feel like, and Lamine Yamal's still very, very young, so I can't get drawn into that, right? Because we've seen young players do better than him, like before. I know 17. We haven't seen young players. We haven't. Is that what I'm saying?
Well, I haven't because I only watched it for a decade.
Like obviously, Michael Owen was in a dead team, but even what Michael Owen was doing at a young age was silly. It was silly.
Yeah, Michael Owen was a better youngster than Yamal.
It was silly. Like,
by a lot or a little?
In terms of the actual ability, no, Yamal's better in terms of ability. In terms of the actual player, Owen was light years ahead of Yamal. Like, the guy was 17 years old.
Yeah, unstoppable almost. It was like
it was
the same way.
It was actually
when you look at like Brazilian Ronaldo, how he was in that. Obviously, he was playing in the Dutch league though, but it was a joke.
Yeah.
Like, what he was doing was a joke. It was like, oh well, it was like you can't deal with it. Yamal, by the way, I'm not saying Yamal that. Even Neymar, in terms of ability, obviously came to Europe at 19, so it's a bit different. But even what he was doing was a bit nuts as well. But obviously not at that age. For me, for me, I'd go Kevin De Bruyne. I think Kevin De Bruyne. I think when you just put on a little compilation, I was just comparing it with him and Pogba's passes in the office the other day. You know, it was just like he blew Pogba out of the water, and that says that something. When you see the intricacies, it's like, oh, okay, like this is, you know, you need a compilation sometimes to remind you of something that happens all the time. Even like a Salah, you know, you don't deep a Salah until you have the compilation. Then you're like,
until you have the compilation, yeah.
That was done.
If I had to pick someone a bit more established, let's say, because you're right, Lamine Yamal. I'm saying if it wasn't Lamine Yamal, if you're talking about like this guy is at his maximum ability, this is on point. It's Mbappe. Pace, dribbling, shot.
No, even Mbappe. No, to be fair, Mbappe's the one. This is what I was saying. When I looked at Kevin De Bruyne, I look at personally, right? What things, when it comes to the ball, can I not do? Like if I tried, it doesn't matter what I did, I couldn't do it. When I see what like Haaland does and what those players or like Haaland, Mbappe and stuff, it's a lot of physicality and they are top.
Basically, Haaland is so fucking elite, like incredible at like 4 or 5 things.
Yeah,
basically, and De Bruyne has got 20, let's say.
Yeah, and it's do what it is for me. It's like when you play that, there's certain things, right? Like clipping a ball, and I always talk about even like with Trent, like clipping a ball into a channel or hitting like a pass. Those are things that like I've seen in it. I've seen him, but there's certain passes that I've not seen, and I'm like, how have you done like the gaps? And it's just like, this is all right. Like that's why when you talk about Messi, it's like I haven't seen this. Like I've seen someone ras it from 30 yards, like Ronaldo did against Paul. I've seen that even at youth level. I've not seen. There's very few players I've seen get the ball and go through everyone and score.
Yeah.
When you look at that, you're like, oh, like. There's nothing I could have done to do that. Neymar's another one as well, where it's just like, there's nothing I could have done to replicate what you can do. There's nothing. It doesn't matter. You could have given me the pace, all the athleticism. I still can't do what he does. And that for me is my metric when I look at it. So I'd say currently De Bruyne, Neymar, to be fair, Neymar, De Bruyne, it's one of those. It's one of them. It is one of them. That
so you're more inclined to give it to a attacking midfielder stroke creator.
You don't have to, by the way, bro. You pick whoever you.
I'm saying it seems like Jerry's more of.
But he's just talking more.
Yeah, I'm inclined there, but those are players again that like you could have put De Bruyne anywhere in midfield. You could have put him at right back where Trent was, and he's still gonna do
defensive midfielder.
Even like Neymar,
oh,
like people don't respect it because you haven't seen it. I mean, Messi hasn't retired. Cape Royal, you're right, but you see even like a Neymar, right? It's one of those ones where you go and put him like, and I know obviously you never do it because of his ability, but you play him at left back. And if you just told him, if he was like, oh, you know what, I'm for Santos, like, I need to just be disciplined and no one's going to cover me. You'd see him play and you'd be like, oh my God. Like, people don't realize that, like even like a Saka, people don't realize like you can play him anywhere and you're just going to be good. That's why I rate Saka highly. You can play him anywhere and you're just going to be good. Messi, when they talk about him, I remember, I think it was PK or Cesc Fabregas saying that 1v1, no one could beat Neymar. No one could beat Messi defensively. Sorry.
Oh, either one. To be honest, I can easily.
Either one, like as in you try to beat him with a step, he's just winning the ball off you. Just winning the ball, and he's just that good. And I think that's what it is for me. Like Virgil van Dijk and stuff, they're all players that I rate highly as well. Like I think he's top. But when I look at those players, I'm like, I just can't do that, though. I'll never be able to. No matter what I did, I just could never do it.
I hear it. So yeah, Steve.
How about you, G?
Yeah, G. What about you?
We'll get to Steve first. Yeah, no. We'll get to Steve first.
G tried to slide out of that one. Yeah, guys.
I'm not. My answer's not going to be like surprising either. But go on, Steve.
No, I'll go with Lamine Yamal. I will go with Lamine Yamal. Because I haven't seen a young play. Maybe you guys have a Michael Owen, or maybe I don't know. What about Rooney? What about Wayne Rooney when he was?
Rooney, I'm not gonna lie. Rooney at 18, yeah. Is that when he went to United?
Yeah,
that was dumb as well. Like, I don't think Yamal would have been able to play in that era and be that young. He had to be Rooney had to be a man. Like at 16, he was a man. It wasn't like it wasn't I'm gonna tap it through and just be a bit nimble. Is no. I'm bullied. Look at 04, like the Euros. Look at that.
Right.
I'm thinking now, Rooney
was tough, man. Tough.
I mean, CR7 is a youngster at Man United.
Nah. CR7 as a youngster wasn't even close to what Rooney's ability as a youngster.
He took a little bit to develop. Yeah.
Yeah. When he did develop, he was.
That's what I'm saying about Lamine Yamal. For me, and I've watched almost every single game of his from the minute go, from the first opportunity he got. I can't remember.
Yamal's been a top player. I just don't have him in world class yet, purely out of my stubbornness.
Just time.
Just finish this season, and I'll put you in there. Once you finish it, then I'll just put you. But right now, I'm like, nah. I just because anything could happen between now and the end of the season.
And it's looking and that's that for me. I'm just shortcutting. I'm just
But I'm also I know I'm gonna put him in there anyway because I feel like like what. You'd have to be some catastrophic drop of earth for that to kind of happen. Yeah, I agree with Jerry. I think the best player in the world is Kevin De Bruyne. Everything Jerry said, I think he's the best midfielder in the entire world. Like if everyone was on form today, I think he's better at what he does than what Rodri does. But I think Rodri is also top. But if I had to, I think Kevin De Bruyne, what he does, I think he's better than what Rodri does in his team. And I think he's better than it than most other players do in their own positions. Not by massive margin. It's not like, oh my, no, there's like say like Van Dijk, even Van Dijk, I'm like, there's probably not even really a gap but I still think De Bruyne is on this like stupid gargantuan level. Like,
what about Pedri?
He unfortunately you're injured. Yeah. You're injured way too much. I think Pedri's but you're injured too much. Yeah,
he's not in that. For me, like Pedri's again really good. But I'm telling you, like after stream, we can even just see it and discuss it. I was watching it yesterday, like a couple of days ago in the office, and we're having a debate about Pogba can pass, and we done a side-by-side comparison on the monitors. When you realize what he's doing, you're like, oh my god! Like it almost makes you feel like it gives nostalgia back. But you know, like in games, it might happen once, and even if someone don't score, it's like what a pass that was, but you won't see it, and they won't show it on Match of the Day. But then this compilation shows it, like how did he pull that off, and like he didn't. Like, how did that get through that gap? And how did he find it's that difficulty? To play the pass is one thing, but to execute it in certain situations is something different. Like, Trent can play a pass. We know it. But in tight situations, we've seen sometimes when Trent misplaces a pass and stuff.
Rooney wasn't even close. Bro. I feel like you, man, forget.
18-year-old Mbappe, obviously. Yeah.
Rooney wasn't close, did he say?
Well, I don't know who in close in regards to who the person is, but like, yeah. You have to get Nick. Let me know who you're talking about, because Rooney was absolutely a phenom when he was fucking 8. It was actually. Let's put it this way: you're so good that Sir Alex Ferguson said, "I need to spend 30 million at the time for you."
Right now,
30 million back then. Yeah, right now. As in, I'm not waiting for you to get to 20.
I'm not loaning you out.
Bro. Hat trick against Fenerbahce in the Champions League.
The number 8 straight away. You know, like
straight away. Yeah, like it was. Yeah, none of this like 66 numbers though. Like, bro, he was on the straight 8s kind of thing. But listen,
Rooney was done. People don't realize, like even like you know, like we don't talk about like Yamin Lamar. See what like Fabregas at 16.
Yeah. Fabregas is also another good player.
Fabregas, people don't realize that he's playing in the era, right? Fabregas, especially because he was there when they won the Invincible season, right? Yeah. When he's got like Roy Keane and that in midfield, and man's playing against them, man. As a young
I actually feel sorry for Fabregas, you know, because you played in a shit Arsenal team. Like when you finally like made the team and stuff. Well, because that point on, that's when they stopped winning. Like they didn't win another Premier League from when he entered, just by coincidence, because. You know, at that time, and you know, blah blah blah.
How long was he at Arsenal for before he dipped for Barca? 3 years?
From 16 to 25, 10 years, 9 years, 8 years, 9 years, something like that.
Damn, so he didn't spend too long at Barca.
I think 8 years.
No, he was only at Barca for 3 seasons. He was at Chelsea longer.
8 years.
He was at Arsenal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. Well, 8 years technically.
8
seasons. Should he have made that Barcelona move earlier? Would that have made sense?
Where though? Where was he going to play at the time? Remember, he came in.
Even when he came like it was
like playing as like a false 9, and Pep Guardiola had the idea of having him further forward, like to overload the midfield even more. In it at the time, it was just 3. He made it into a 4. Now, Fabregas was again. If you go back and look at what Fabregas was doing, even like at 17, like the following season, it was silly. Like it was silly, and it was again a game where. The other opposition are playing long ball all the time, and he's in midfield trying to win headers and stuff. Then get on the ball and play when teams aren't trying to play. You know, like Lamine Yamal now, it's always easier for wide players. I think to being a young player, it's always easier for wide players because you can stay out of the business. When you're a young player playing like as a centre forward, or as a centre back, or even as a keeper, you're in the firing line all the time. And I think that's why even we've got centre backs and stuff, they always say, let him mature. He's still young for a centre back. He's still young for a keeper because you've got nowhere to hide. As a wide player, you can come in and come out. Like it's like, I stay. I'm not going to get the ball for ages. Then I get it and I could just do something. If I muck up, it's fine because I'm just trying to get at him. When you're a midfielder and stuff and you've got that response, it's completely different, man. Completely different.
Guys, we'll leave it there, man. We'll leave it there. Listen, man, it's funny when we have these conversations, but sometimes it annoys me because then now you've got me all on the fucking internet looking at like just random stuff. Yeah. Like now my tabs are just like now. These times I had my tabs all nice and neat before I came on the show. I'm like, I need to delete some of these tabs. Like, I got these just open that I've looked at like 3 weeks ago. Now I've just got Kevin De Bruyne.
I gotta watch a Nedved Ballon d'Or comp and then
but brother, I had Nedved up from before. Like, you know what I mean? Like. There's just bare up on here, but listen, man. Big up everybody, of course. Big up everybody in the chat as well. Big up all of you, man. You guys always showing love to the channel. Big up Steve and big up Jerry, of course, for joining me. Guys, make sure you head on over to both of their channels and make sure you are subscribing to both. I don't care if Jerry ain't doing no streams. Make sure you just subscribe. He said when he gets to 3,000 subscribers, he'll be back. So guys, please make sure we're heading on over there and subscribing. His link is in my description as always. So I've done the work for you. All you have to do is literally click it. You don't have to type shit. Just click it. Both of these channels, by the way, are also my playlist. So even if you can't be bothered and you couldn't find this up in the comments, you just have to click it. That's all you've got to do, man. I should be on with what's this? Honestly, this is why he's just a bum.
Yeah,
I should be on later with ENDZ, I believe. I think so. Don't know what I'm doing actually later on, but yeah, I should be. I think he's doing a preview for the Brighton game. I slightly forgot that we were playing in the League Cup. I thought it was a league game, but clearly not.
That's why we're debating Ballon d'Or, because it's Carabao.
Yeah. Because I was like, I don't give a fuck about the League Cup. But yeah, I should be on there. I think he's doing it at 5:30. In fact, you know, let me even redirect you motherfuckers over there. Just drop a like for him, please. Just I'm saying for the man there. ENDZ, why is your caption this the first thing that I'm seeing? Like, why can't it just be Brighton versus Liverpool match preview and that's it? Why does it have to be? You guys will see it when this ends anyway. You guys will see it. Question is more available?
Mikey Moore?
Who is more available, Jerry or Jota? Oh, who is more available, Jerry or Jota? Jerry, as of recent. I'm trying to think. Like, no, I got to think. Slightly, it would have to be Jerry. Slightly, it would actually have to be Jerry, because in the last like few months, say like 2 months, he's been more available than Jota, considering Jota's still not here, and when he injured before as well in the season and last season, yeah. So just slightly, it would have to be.
But we are forgetting that Jerry also did have a 𝐒𝐔𝐁𝐒 for a while, and that
true.
He's associating someone with who's even more or less available than Jota.
There we go. Look,
that might have to.
Yeah. True.
Luis Diaz's dad. I'm still kidding.
Yeah, now he's Now he's Luis Diaz's dad and that. Bro, you know what's capped about that situation? I swear it was the Pups' friend.
Yeah.
That's.
Do you want the there's a joke in the Latin and the Colombian community. Do you know what they're saying about Luis Diaz's dad?
Oh, no.
That he was so annoying that they let him go on purpose. They were like, bruv, you're just annoying in this camp, bruv. Wherever they were keeping him, all that dancing, all that jumping around, they're like, bruv, we need to just.
Man said, like, you guys, you're too annoying. Let's just let this nigga go. Let's just let this guy go. Hey, but people, like I said, man, you'll be redirected to ENDZ stream 5:30. I think the stream is. So make sure you guys smash a like for the homie. Big up Jerry, big up Steve, big up everybody in the damn.
Don't even look comfortable in your own ends. Don't look comfortable. I'm around.